Bing bong, bing bong. Wait, Rios, show me your audio. I want to make sure you have it.
Testing.
It's there. Good. I will never make that mistake again. Welcome to 100 Girlfriends, everybody.
Yeah, English commentary reviewing this chapter with such eloquence is beyond the reviewer's skill with the language.
Damn. Excellent. I had an idea.
End of the episode.
It's over. Goodbye. Go away. No, don't. If I see a dip off in fucking viewers right there, I'll be so mad that you took me literally. Stop it. You've come back. Okay. I also had an idea for an intro. I was gonna ask you, Rios, if you were if you were on the street and a woman just started singing, like just full on singing, how would you react? I assume you'd react in the same way that these people do, looking and being like, what the fuck? See, listen.
You're singing in a language that you don't know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, this is
even the writer of your world doesn't know.
I love that. That's the this is why 100 Girlfriends is so fun to write fanfics for, because you can just impart this kind of like lazy energy into the writing, but it works. This is an interesting chapter. For many reasons, right? So for one, for me personally, I'm so sorry, Kiki fans. I would say Kiki is probably like bottom 10, bottom 5 girlfriends for me. I don't hate her. Remember, I'll be honest, it was fun to hate. The hate arc was fun. I do think I've been softened. I don't know if I have any F tiers anymore. You know, I've seen, because I have this huge community now. I've heard every single defense. You know, I've heard all the Sue defenses. I've heard all them. I almost got into a fight about Mimi. You know. It was getting intense in our Discord about Mimi. I've heard it all, and now I feel like I'm seeing that there's a corner to every girlfriend that I maybe didn't understand, right? But so all that to say, when I say someone's in my bottom 10, for me, Kiki has always just kind of been there. You know what I mean?
I saw similar sentiments in the Reddit discussion threads. People were talking about like you were saying, but they were like, "Oh, this chapter kind of changed my opinion."
Exactly,
still in a different light, kind of thing.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say, right? So, but that being said, this is exactly the type of chapters we need more of, and I'm actually really happy. I'm seeing I don't know if it's a trend or if it's just a drop in the bucket. That'll remain to be seen. But I'm seeing. I want to know if you're seeing this too. This vibe shift, Rios, where it feels like exactly what we've been wanting, where it feels like he's taking the time to like focus. To me, it really does feel like he had his fun. He did his crazy Nano arc. He did his crazy Mario Party arc, and blah blah blah. And then like he finally went back to the board that I no doubt assume he has, right, where he's got like this like tally count of like amount of time since this girlfriend's got a focus chapter, amount of time that since this girlfriend's got a focus. Because this is like, if you ask me to name like off the top of my head like 5 girls that need a focus chapter like now, like Kiki would have been one of them, you know. So I'm very happy to get this, because this is what I want 100 Girlfriends to be more of more often. I want more focus. I'm glad that they took the time, because in this chapter we have Rentoro and Kiki just sit down and have a full fucking combo for like half the chapter, and I like that.
Boyfriend and girlfriend, like an actual relationship, you know.
And it reminds us how good Rentoro is, you know. But we're jumping around. But I guess I will start by saying, to me, and I was wondering if this was going to be the reveal. I think this would be a really good idea for like a volume extra sketch in between when the volume comes out. But I like the idea that like she assumes that everyone is like looking at this woman singing because they're like aghast at how beautiful her singing is. But actually they're all like, you know, reacting as you would if a random woman just started singing on the street. Like, what the fuck? Should we call the police? Is this like a demonstration? What's going on? Like, this is, how else would you react? It's weird.
And then also, I mean, to get the joke out of the way, I was like, me? Just like for a second, I was like,
naturally,
like I mean, it looked a lot like her, but.
Yeah, so
not, like,
are we assuming
that'd be funny, like a volume, like that'd be a funny volume X where she's like, okay, pull off the glasses and the fake tattoo is like, all right, like job accomplished. I managed to push Himiko in a way that made her even more beautiful.
Yeah, this is her 4D chess move. I love it. Speaking of beautiful, I think a standout for me this chapter was the art. The art is goddamn on point.
I noticed it when I was checking out Backtrack Reacts live translation. He was like, bro, Nozawa was cooking out throughout, you know.
Absolutely, cooking up.
So I mean, it seems both Nozawa and Nakamura are stepping up their game. So.
Now I will say now because I like to say this because if I'm wrong, it's funny, and if I'm right, I'm right. So, my guess would be a shorter review for us, but we'll live in the future, so you can check the timeline and see if I'm right or wrong. I'm gonna open up my my Liquid Death mountain water that looks like a beer, but is in fact a water. Oh yeah.
Is there a reason it's called Liquid Death?
Oh, do you not know?
No, I do not.
Rios doesn't know. This is if I could take one sponsorship, I would genuinely. I'm like such a knob slobber for this company, and I'll tell you why. This is what's gonna make this review go a little longer. Also, Kiki would drink Liquid Death. I'll say it.
It's so abnormal.
Water in a can? How abnormal. Okay, so here's my Liquid Death spiel. Okay, one of my OCD paranoias as of late has been microplastics. That shit's scary. Like I don't know if you've read there's like a Lego brick worth of fucking plastic in your brain right now. That's real. And that shit.
Our generation's lead paint.
Exactly. And the thing is, we don't really know how that affects us yet. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully it means nothing, but you got to assume that if there's more plastic than brain in your brain, that'll mean something. And I want to be able to think good. If I have too much plastic in my brain, I can't provide you these wonderful reviews, dear viewers.
Maybe that's why you can provide them.
The more plastic in my brain, the more I like Tama. Anyway, so Liquid Death, their whole thing, and it's like on the back of all their cans, it says #death to plastic. So like one of their things is like when every something you buy from them, they donate like some of the proceeds to like get eliminating plastic pollution. So that's one thing I like about them. It's just nice to like have a sustainable, recyclable thing that isn't going to give you fucking microplastics. But this is the extra funny reason, right? So they also sell like teas and shit. So you know what like an Arnold Palmer is, right? It's like the half lemonade, half tea.
Yeah, I totally know what that is.
Have you heard the term Arnold Palmer?
No. Like I'm talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger or what?
Oh my God! Everyone make fun of him in the comments. That's such no. Anyway,
Damn.
I'm sorry, Rios. That's like I mean, it's like a classic. Like it's like not knowing what a margarita is. Like it's like a fucking like.
I'm the type of person who would not know what that is. I mean, I do know what a margarita is, but.
Okay. Well, I love you for that, Rios. It makes you very innocent of you. Anyway, so an Arnold Palmer is half lemonade, half tea, some kind of tea, I don't remember. So it's like they sell, it's like a brand, right? It's like they sell Arnold Palmers in the store. It's like some guy that invented that drink, I assume. I don't know the whole story.
Is his name Arnold Palmer?
Yes, that was his name. So he made up the drink. It's called an Arnold Palmer. I don't know the whole lore, okay? But point being,
is there a name for a hand job given by Arnold Schwarzenegger? Or what?
Ooh, yeah, he's palming you. Exactly. That's pretty good. Yeah, I got a Palmer from Arnold yesterday. That's pretty good. Anyway, so Liquid Death, they had their own version of that, and like so their branding is like basically like even though it's just water and tea, we're gonna make it look hardcore as fuck. The can looks like a beer can, despite the fact that it's water, right? So that's kind of they even did a Super Bowl ad where like it's a bunch of kids drinking from them, and you think they're drinking alcohol, and then it's like, don't worry, it's just tea, right? But anyway, so
Don't worry, it's just Arnold Palmer.
Arnold palming them. So they made all their flavors have like these like hardcore. In fact, you know who else would like Liquid Death? Rin, actually, because like their flavor. Like I just had one today. It was like their blueberry tea, and it was like buzzsaw blueberry, literally.
They're just throwing together like aggressive sounding words with like just normal sounding like ingredients or whatever.
Exactly. But anyway, so their Arnold Palmer was named Armless Palmer. and Arnold Palmer's like estate or family or whatever sued Liquid Death for that. So their response to that was, okay, we'll rename it to Dead Billionaire. So
I mean, based
exactly. So it's still in there. You can find it in stores. Their fucking half lemonade, half tea can drink is called the flavor's called Dead Billionaire, and I saw that and I was like, well, I'm buying that on principle.
I mean, how does it taste? Does it taste like Dead Billionaire?
I take a sip and I close my eyes and I imagine post-revolution. We've won.
Yep. No more billionaires. No more capitalists.
I got to show you the
Red Revolution.
It's called that because I'm the one doing it. I gotta show you there's a drag video where it's like he's got like these characters, like one of them's like the full communist and one of them's like more like the social democrat, like Bernie Sanders voter, right? And it's like what the communist is gonna do to the more social democrats after the revolution, and it's just like, wow, I can't believe we did it. We really did eliminate class, and then he's like, yeah, we did, and then like the social democrat is like looking out, and he's just like, keep looking at the flowers, and then the communist like executes him because he's not based enough. He's gonna fall back into, he's not a communist enough, I think, is the idea. I don't know.
Yeah. yeah.
Anyway.
The classic meme about socialism killed 11 billion people, and if we institute even 1% of it anywhere on Earth, it will destroy the remaining, the remaining masses, or whatever.
Anyway, moving on. I'm so sorry about that fucking tangent.
Yeah, where were we? What were we talking about?
Oh my god. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I can go to a couple of things that I want to talk about, unless you have some.
Himiko would be as we all know, socialism is very abnormal, so he would totally be down for it.
The concern would be that the second that if they're ever winning, she's gonna like flip right.
Oh my
back
god! Yeah.
See, that's the problem with characters like that, or like her whole ideology, right?
With contrary, it's basically
exactly. So like that, we need to see. I want to see a moment where she's challenged about that, and I know that she's like in her intro, she was like, "Oh, I don't want to do it in a way that's like a bother to people," so that's good.
Yeah.
But like, I do wonder if how far she would take it. Like, do you have any? And honestly, that's a good thing to bring up, right? Because part of the conflict of this chapter is her kind of wrestling with the idea, like, do I actually have real beliefs? Do I have?
Yeah, that's the big paragraph I was telling you about, but I think before the review started, I basically wrote out. But anyway, I guess this is a good chance to bring it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I remember mentioning way back in our original tier list stream. Check that out on our channel if you haven't seen it. But anyway, I remember mentioning my perception of Himiko as someone who kind of fails to imitate the sort of authentic idiosyncrasies associated with true artists such as Uto, and because he's too concerned with living up to like external standards and norms, like you mentioned. And she's sort of banished from consciousness a lot of the like ideals and judgments and personal judgments that would let you do that sort of thing in favor of just fine dining and breathing. Which I love that meme. I guess it's peak. It's a good meme. Recently. Yeah. But yeah,
recently,
anyway,
the whole time I've known you, brother.
Yeah. That's recent in my life. Anyway, the conclusion of that thought was that because Himiko has little direct awareness of her deeper values and judgments, she's kind of reduced to doing these goofy ass gimmicks like singing upside down or putting pork sauce on oranges, or whatever. But some part of her realizes how dumb it would be, like how dumb that would be, and sort of stops her from doing anything truly wrong or problematic. Unlike some artists out there whose names start with a Y and end with an E. And until she finds something more personally satisfying, but also a socially acceptable way of expressing her individuality, and it seems based on this chapter that she's sort of finally done that, or at least made a big step in that direction.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to move on to one of my favorite parts, which I think instantly helps me understand her more as a person. Okay, I love this part where Rentoro's like, how did you start out singing? Oh, well, the first time I sang, my parents were so blown away with my skill, they immediately enrolled me into a singing school for children. And then the next panel, I have nothing more to teach you. Go sign a record deal as fast as you can. And that is like
get from here.
Classic like Amanda Bynes, Miley Cyrus crash out shit, right? I mean, like you've been, because like I don't know how much time has passed, but the way I interpreted this was her parents sent her to this class and like instantly, like this wasn't like months. It was like all right, let's learn, and then she just like, it's like the most goddess singing. She's like, what? Get out of here.
She's like maybe like she would ever be like a baby to like a toddler, but it would be like maybe like a year at most, but. But I mean, that's funny that she just came in there, rocked up there, and was like instant prodigy.
Yeah, I love that.
She's like the poster child for like that realization that you're just doing something because you're good at it, and society rewards you for it. And you're like,
I like that.
Do I actually care about this? Because I mean, I did kind of sort of have that sort of thing in as a as a sort of almost a valedictorian of my high school graduating year.
Bitch smart over here.
Yeah. But I mean, what saved me from that is that I was always doing that shit as like a means to an end. So it was never like all I had, basically. I always wanted to be the artist. So that was always kind of like, that was the actual thing I was trying to do. And being good at school was just a way
love
to
that.
get,
Rios fucking he fucking avoided becoming the people I hate, bro. The fucking like you were like this close. There's like an alternate reality of you, or an alternate reality version of you that like became like a salary man, bro. They like that's working in like Wall Street.
Well, I mean, yeah, I have. Well, I've never had a chance to say this, but I've thought, I would be like, I would be the exact sort of person who's like, just get money to make money, like, because that's how I kind of treat my art.
And you'd find purpose
I want to get better at making art, almost for its own sake. I want to be able to look back at him and laugh and go, damn, I really went, I walked 1,000,000 miles worth of artistic development and advancement. I mean, it just so happens to be that I turned that, sort of like almost sociopathic ambition onto making art and creative stuff.
Being a sociopath is a lot more charming when you're an artist. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that Kiki's kind of tapped into, right? It's like it's actually.
For her, the thing that she's
too normie. She's struggling with being so normie. I'm sorry, continue.
Like, for her, the thing she put all of her eggs in is the thing that she happened to be good at. It'd be like if I had not had any artistic inclinations, I was just going to be valedictorian just for its own sake, and then once you're done with it, like, what do you do with your life? Like,
there's so many people. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, did I? I was
just,
no. Yeah, you. This is, by the way, this is the Rios skill. Okay, I was worried. I was like, do I have a lot to say about that? I had like 3 points I wanted to touch on, and Rios is getting my brain.
And I was over here like, okay, I don't have that much, but as long as I can spark the red. Like
the red yap, the yap gene.
And we'll be safe. Yeah.
Did we both independently say the yap gene?
Well, I was gonna say the yap machine or something like that, but the yap gene, biological versus mechanical.
Absolutely.
I guess
I was born
two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Okay. So I love the idea that, because it's something I've always kind of known, but never like just thought about actively until. Well, I'm sure I have in the past, but it's been a while where I was thinking about that, like. Yes, it is kind of associated with artists. Like, oh, they're so unique and like that's what makes. Because like we all know anyone who's like into art for the art element and not just like the pretty colors on a screen, and like they like to dive into it. And like you look into some of the best art, groundbreaking art that like changed the world. It's always fucking weirdos, but in a good way. It's people that are because you have to be willing to, if you go into to make art like a movie, but you're looking at it from a normie box, and your normie box tells you, okay, what boxes do we have to check in order to make a smash hit? You're not going to make something groundbreaking. You're not going to make something that pushes the boundaries. Think about, like one of the things that made Stanley Kubrick's movies so good is that he was willing to effectively torture his fucking actors.
Well,
I'm not saying that's a good thing.
There's an argument to be made if that is the case. But I mean, there's also another argument to be made if he just been,
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that was pretty fucking eccentric.
There's an argument to be made that the reason they came out so well was because of what he did.
His
rather than
insane
good
perfectionism.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It happened like 30, 40 years ago. Okay, get over it. They're fine. They've all gone to therapy. If you don't know what we're talking, I'm kidding. If you don't know what we're talking about, there's a famous scene in The Shining where he made them reshoot it 127 times, and he was like psychologically fucking with the main actress of that movie to the point where she was losing hair from stress. And again, none of that is okay, obviously. But you look back at it and you're like, I mean, that was a fucking artist. You can't say he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not okay. But like, man, the man was like psychopathically driven.
Yeah, definitely the like epitome of the like almost deranged artist they're so captured by their artistic vision that the limits of society can't even keep them in, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, maybe a better example, if we want to say, like, off-the-rails type shit, like, I saw The TV Glow as a movie that really spoke to me recently, and that's super, like, it's not structured like a normal movie at all. It's like, very dreamlike. It makes a lot of like creative decisions that other movies, you know, if you were trying to work off the like movie framework of like, well, we got to make sure this is understandable to the masses. No, it's books and movies and games that break the rules. You know, what was the first game that broke the conventional wisdom of graphics get better, right? Like for years it was like, graphics better. You know, I imagine if you wanted to go back and make a pixel art game in 2006 when the PS3 was coming out, people would be like, why would you do that? We're trying graphics better. But now that's the thing.
Like mirroring the development of like photography and how that changed like painting, because you know, for like literally centuries, painters have been trying to get more and more realistic, and then all of a sudden this thing comes out that literally can make what might take like, you know, months or even years to put together as a painter. It can make it in like a second or how long it takes you to develop the photo. And so like after that, in the wake of that, you start getting like the modern art movement and cubism and other sorts of like weird abstract shit. Because like, I mean, you can do realism perfectly well, so now we gotta figure out what the hell's the point of this artist kind of thing.
I got a
similar.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
With gaming.
Yeah, cook.
Yeah. I was just gonna. I mean, I was just gonna say like similar thing happened with gaming where they came up with super ultra realism, and now people are sort of exploring more non-realism sort of stuff.
People are yearning for the PS1 graphics yet again. I love PS1 graphics are coming back, like with mouth washing and stuff. Like, I don't know if you saw that game at all. Yeah. I got a much better example than Stanley Kubrick, a less problematic one.
Yeah, I was about to say like and he did that, and he did that without traumatizing any of their actors. Correct? I don't know how to. What the
No, I was gonna use it. I was gonna use a better example. I was gonna talk about Mozart. You know, I watched a movie about Mozart, and it was surprisingly really engaging. As someone,
it's one with the guy who was like the sort of the Normie, the classic sort of like the technical master versus like the artistic wizard sort of trope sort of thing. Like,
we have found a way to make this review long, folks. Okay, so it's called like Amadeus, I think. Does that sound familiar?
I saw the same one at my art in high school art class. Yeah.
That movie is so fucking good, and also a yaoi. You can't convince me otherwise. Have you watched it recently? It is gay. The gay is in
like
the air.
17th century yaoi.
That's about as gay as you can get in the 17th century. Dude, that movie is
real Naruto X Sasuke vibes.
Oh my god. Yeah, true. Yeah, I think I may have talked about it in like a previous stream or review, so I'll go quick. But like, yeah, so like the thing with Mozart, from what I learned about in that movie, and I assume it's mostly accurate. I'm sure they Hollywoodize it a little bit, but you know, he was making songs that were, you know, he wasn't following conventional wisdom. He was just like doing shit that he felt like doing, and like, so he would make songs that were so erratic and crazy for the time, and you'd have like the conventional wisdom, the kings would come out and be like, oh, it's interesting, but it's too many notes.
The art critics are like, oh, I'll put 25 on 17th century Metacritic, whatever, and then the populace is like, oh my lord, it's so fresh, so interesting, and he's doing scatological humor in his songs, or like, so of course the masses love that.
Well, a moment that I always remember from that movie is like, you know, they're like looking to the either the king or the advisor for like how to feel about like they're waiting to see what the king says. To then decide how to feel about it. And the king's like, it's too many notes. And then I think he literally says, like, the human mind, the human ear can only perceive so many notes. It's all that to say. That is interesting because you do have Himika. She has the talent, but
she has like the technical mastery, but she's missing. She's so focused on that she's missing essentially the thing that Uto has that she finds so like compelling and cool about her. Like Uto is willing to do goofy weird shit for no other reason because that's what she wants to do from like her deepest self, and Himika needs to figure out how to sort of tap into that in her own self. And not
I really like that contrast.
Just copy people. Yeah.
That contrast makes me so happy, and I love the mention of Uto in this chapter as well. Made me really happy as an Uto fan. Obviously,
it's like that she added that because like because who was it, like the Kenshi Gonezi guy, that's someone she'd mentioned before way back when, I think, in like
but I want to be like Uto too. The fact that she still mentions that, I mean, like, that is on her mind constantly. That wasn't like a passing phase for her. I really like that. And then that also made me think about up top in the top of this chapter, you have Uto. You know, Uto doesn't often express a lot of emotion other than either A, her stoic like character or surprise, right? You do have Uto at the top of this chapter kind of looking like sad, you know, like she's missing her.
Yeah, we didn't do our daily singing lessons.
But no,
or our daily aura farming sessions.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I love the idea that like either before or after school, she's having like daily lessons with Uto, where Uto's like, now this is the time during my day where I go and stand on top of this rock and aura farm for at least a half hour. Now you're going to aura farm with me. Now you're going to close your eyes, strike a pose, and I want you to visualize the type of person you want to be.
And then Himiko's like, okay, now this is the part we're gonna do. I'm gonna teach you the lessons I learned at that singing school. And Uto's like, oh, I'm trying over here. It's
I like with what you were saying about you know, that comparison, whereas like, you know, Uto is like the Mozart and like Himika or Kiki is like the conventional wisdom artist, right?
Yeah.
I love that comparison because that implies that at a certain point Uto will probably at least finally learn the conventional wisdom of ocarina playing, but because she wasn't born with it, she had that like crazy artist drive building within her. So I imagine there could be a moment where she does like this crazy performance piece with like ocarina music, and it's like super avant-garde and interesting and boundary pushing, and she like breaks out on like a viral YouTube video or something. I would love that. Yeah. So like imagine a future chapter where like, all right, Himika has just put out her new music video. It's got like 3 million views on YouTube, and she's like, I don't know. Actually,
she went viral.
Yeah, probably more popular.
Scales, and she went viral for it.
Well, actually, I'll say this: it probably, given that a random American pop singer came specifically to talk to, she's probably hitting like 100 million at least, right, on her videos.
It'd be like Ado levels over here.
Yeah. So imagine, you know, her new album drops, new hit single. It's got 100 million views. She's like, everyone, look, and then you know, Uto's over in the corner doing like a fucking headstand, playing ocarina and like fucking, I don't know, reading like poetry or whatever. And then something happens where like Uto's video is like becomes like the next Gangnam Style, and then I like the idea that like Kiki, you know, at first she gets like there's like a little jealousy arc there. You know what I mean? And that would be interesting.
Yeah, she'd have to really confront like why was I not able to, like, you know, like it was according to all the external objective metrics, my piece is like it's like better, but it's
technically better, and I did weird shit too. I applied all the lessons from Uto.
Yeah, and then the weird thing she did was like, I don't know, like add some weird auto tuning to it or something. It's like just very like gimmicky weird stuff basically.
Uto's answer, she goes up to Uto and she's like, Uto, why did your video get more views than my video? And Uto would be like, would a crystal mom want organic milk or homogenized milk?
Damn.
Boom! And that's like Uto's biggest diss.
Damn, like yeah, she's like, I've grown beyond you. The student eclipses the master.
No, they would never fight like that. But
yeah, no, that would be interesting. Yeah, interesting little interesting to imagine, like, how would the girlfriends fight each other?
A temporary spat, maybe. Yeah,
like imagine like an Avengers. What was
Civil War. Yeah. Oh yeah. How do they break off? Like, what's the teams? Yeah.
Damn, I mean that'd be another interesting potential chapter.
And you'd have to have Hikari lead one team and Karane lead the other team. Like class, definitely. And then they make up at the end by like scissoring, and then everyone scissors or something.
Yeah, it's a very, very scissors beats rock sort of situation. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, but yeah, no, I really do. That's a great compare. Honestly, Rios did the cooking thing again. He really did cook me a fine 5-star meal to really devour throughout this review. I love it. That's such a great comparison with her being like the conventional wisdom artist, and like I just to continue on, because like I just really want to hammer in the idea of like, if you are born, because you know I wasn't born with a skill. You know what I mean? Like, not that like I can think.
I am the number one op of the idea that people have talent. Like I have been against the idea for like at least the past decade. And some people. Well, it depends because you know some people. I've come across some.
But then you come across
talent that are less stupid than others. But I mean, a lot of them end up just boiling down to like. It's like you can't have a genetic like talent for basketball.
You can have a predisposition. You
have predispositions for like more basic fundamental elements, like say, you know, like having maybe like better hand-eye coordination, for example, or maybe say having better like spatial reasoning skills. But those are very basic fundamental attributes that that can apply to a variety of different skills and aspects. Like you can't say that's a talent for basketball when that would also be helpful in like say writing or drawing or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it's not really So it's really more like I have an issue with people just being too vague about their language. Like, what do you actually mean when you say that kind of thing?
So how do you parse or like explain like those stories you hear where it's like here's this like 4-year-old that like composed?
Well, I mean, like for example, Mozart. He was being taught by his dad, who was an accomplished I don't say magician, but accomplished musician. When he was like barely old enough to like talk.
So is it a mixture of that and then the level of autism he had, basically?
Well, yeah, like for him, like music was basically a second language that he learned growing up. Like, of course, he'd be able to do things that the rest of us, like like someone who's like learning a new language when they're like in their 20s probably would struggle with it because you have to spend. But you don't have the 20 years of a previous experience and practice like sort of drawn, and also just the baby brain buff
absorbs
basically.
like a sponge. Well, but there's definitely a nature element to it though, because my dad tried to shoehorn me into sports my whole life, and I was like, no, nah, you know what I mean? Like my brain took to video games.
Would you call that talent, or would you call that interest? Because I mean, at that point, are we saying that having an interest in something is a talent? Like I'm not.
No, that's not what
I just call that interest at that point.
I'm just curious what determines what you're drawn to. I mean, it's obviously it's a mixture of nature and
mixture
nurture.
Of nature and nurture.
But I do wonder. I get because like I imagine like for me something that like this is a random.
I think it's partially because as an artist myself, I tend to be because the talent question is sometimes used to like say, well, maybe not discourage fledgling artists, but it's something that gets in the way of a person.
I see
a newbie artist sort of getting in. It's like no, don't worry about that. You will find out for yourself, whether you have it or not, by trying the thing, and it's not going to come to you quickly. Like you usually need like at least a year or two of consistent, regular practice before you can even get good at a new skill you're trying to learn. Unless
that's so
happen
important.
to already have.
I totally agree.
Relevant experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I remember starting to yo-yo. I was just dropping it every 3 seconds, and now I can do like all the basic tricks because I just did it nonstop for like a year. I really do think you should watch the movie Look Back. It was based off a manga.
Oh, yeah.
So good. I mean, there's a great part during that where she was like the main character is like the best artist in her class, but then there's like a student who's like sick all the time, so she's always getting her like schoolwork from home, and then like she
tends to be even
she's like immaculate and so like the girl that was like super used to all that praise is like, I gotta get better at drawing, and there's a part where she Googles like how to get better at drawing, and like the answer and there's like this like compilation where she sees it over and over again. It's like, just draw, idiot, just draw, idiot, just draw, idiot. It's very good. But yeah, I love that. It's a nice, refreshing new angle to look at Kiki's character from, to know that like, again, I'm headcanoning here that essentially, I mean, like we're talking like before she was even probably conscious, right? I mean, like my first memories are from when I'm like 6, you know what I mean? Like I don't remember anything because like I don't remember 9/11, and you'd think I'd remember that because that was a big day. And I was I was
4 when it happened, but I have memories from when I was 4, but nothing regarding 9/11.
Maybe I just didn't give a fuck about 9/11 because I was
already the anti-capitalist baby.
As a baby, I knew America deserved it. That's a reference to Hassan Piker, and not necessarily something I agree with without taking lots of time to explain the context.
What's the classic, like this joke, like this is a joke, it does not reference any of the host's actual held beliefs or opinions. Please do not sue.
Satire alert. Seriously though, if you don't know the reference, that's there's a famous streamer who said that, and it's haunted him for the rest of his life. But he did have a deeper political meaning to what he was saying.
He's what's the word? He's owned that in the time since.
He realized that it was way too.
He's a real abnormal, maybe not artist, but yeah.
Yeah, he is. If Kiki wants to be real abnormal, she just has to come out as a Japanese artist, say that America deserved 9/11.
Like I think it was bad what the Japanese did during World War II, and they should like actually be like in a similar way to Germany in the post World War II era got like really punished for. I think Japan should also be punished for it, which is a very controversial statement.
We should have a Pearl Harbor happen to us.
They're trying real hard. They've been trying real hard to sweep that shit under the rug. They do not want to deal with any of the Unit 735 or whatever it was sort of stuff, or the rape of Nanking type stuff. Like, oh no, that's old us. We're not like that anymore. We didn't.
I love the dude. The idea of Kiki going like mega political is so funny to me. Like Kiki making the like doing the podcast rounds. Like Kiki goes on like the Joe Rogan Experience, and she's like, I don't know, I'm super into like what's something that people get like weirdly into and it like changes their whole fucking like life. I don't know. Yeah, I'm thinking of
like transvestigation sort of stuff. We're like,
maybe she's super into like psychedelics. You know, she gets really into like mushrooms.
It makes me more abnormal.
Honestly, I could see that. I could see that from her. All right, let's get back into
the only way I can be. That's the only way I can be abnormal if I do these drugs. He's like,
and then she spirals, bro.
Yeah, like Steinbeck with alcohol, or that one time the what was his name? Stephen. It's not Spielberg. Stephen King wrote a fucking book on like a coke field bender. He's like, I wrote this story on a psychedelic field bender, or I wrote a song on a psychedelic field bender kind of thing.
I can see how people could go down that kind of path because I had a brief moment where I had low self-esteem with these reviews, and I felt like I needed to be like high energy all the time. Like I needed to come in and be like, you know what I mean? And so like
cartoon character type.
There was a brief couple of weeks where I was like, do I need to drink an energy drink before each one of these? But I don't do that now because I've realized the balance is important. You can't fake the energy.
Was where where like in my head I have imagined and then worried about like what if I, in order to be better, more like a loose rider or whatever, I start taking alcohol to like sort of take the edge off. And so if I do that, what if I become dependent on it? So I'm gonna end up not doing it.
A little bit of weed would probably be better than alcohol.
Me probably.
Yeah, like a tiny bit.
I guess
tiny
nowadays
little edible.
It'd be really easy to get a hold of it.
Oh yeah.
I guess there's a part of me that's still like,
you're still in the it's illegal days.
The dare.
Yeah, me too, bro.
Yep.
I still haven't tried it for full discrepancy. Is that the right word? Discrepancy. Full clarity.
Full transparency.
That's the one.
Discrepancy. Well, actually, yeah. Discrepancy doesn't mean. Anyway, yeah.
I think I used that wrong. Yeah. Either way, I still haven't tried it. Allie's trying to get me to, but in like a nice way, not in like a peer pressure way. She's like, because I was telling her about like the anxiety. Sometimes I come home from work and I'm still anxious, and she's like, well, you don't have to. And obviously, she's always like qualifying her language, like I'm not pressuring you, but
Rentoro.
If you'd like to, you could try this because it's something I'm willing to try. And I had to eventually get up the bravery to try alcohol. I didn't drink till I was like 28. You know what I mean? Have you drank again?
I'm a teetotal here. Yeah, I do, but mostly just like at like restaurants or like during like family events or something. Otherwise,
it is fun to get.
I'm just a water man. Otherwise.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's healthy. Very nice. I need to see like. Oh, I should have known. I asked, do you drink? But we did a drunk fucking 100 girlfriends gift stream.
Yeah, I was drinking ethanol rather than alcohol, so it doesn't count.
Anyway, let's get back to the chapter. Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the great comparison with her being, just her having that talent from like birth. I can totally see the path where like, yeah, you just do this now because that's what you've been told your whole life. Like, I mean, this happens to kids all the time. I see stories about this all the time in real life where it's like some kid, they draw a good drawing once, put it on the fridge, and then their parents are like, wow, you're the family artist. And then like, that's my life now. You know what I mean?
Or the classic, like,
you're going to be a dentist.
Or like, you never had to study in school to get good grades. And then you go to college. It's like, oh shit. Suddenly I can't get by just not studying anymore. But so now what do I do? My grades are falling, but all my identity rests on being a high grades student. I did kind of go through that.
Real shit.
But because, like I said, because I don't put all of my identity, or didn't put all my identity on being a good academic student, I was able to sort of get over it quick enough. But I mean, I definitely do relate to Himika in certain ways. I mean, I remember mentioning during our first that stream way back when with the Vex and you, I was like, I need to be more like Tatsuki Fujima. I need to be more unhinged. I'm too hinged. I mean, I still do kind of have to. I just feel like I do need to kind of work through that and become a little bit more Uto-esque. Less
you're having the Himika problem in real time. Yeah. You're trying to artificially manufacture it. Yeah. I wonder how. Yeah. I mean, I think if you're comfortable with it, like start small, but like a tiny little weed edible, and see where because it's not even the way that Allie's described it. Because when the way that Dare taught it to me was I assumed that you'd get like hallucinations and you'd be freaking the fuck out. And I'd read for madness.
Goddamn LSD. Like there's no THC in weed. It's LSD.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna like fuck you up, but I mean, the way that Allie describes the type she uses, it just kind of like relaxes you. You get giggly. You
I mean, it's
stop
definitely
thinking
one of
about
the safest narcotic substances you can think. Like, I mean, I think
exactly.
it's not physically possible to OD on weed. Like you would die from like from like the physical stuff burst in your stomach or like whatever before you
Yeah.
ever succumb to like THC poisoning or whatever.
Yeah, that's why like too like for people like I've never done weed before, and for a while I fell for the dare shit and I was super against it when I was like younger, but now I like when I hear people like, oh, I'm on all these pain meds for like my joint pain, I'm always like, have you tried like weed or THC or something, like I would do that before getting like, but if I ever got to a point where I was taking like 3 ibuprofen a day, and that's not even a lot to most people, but to me that would be, I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna do weed for this.
I guess when I had my wisdom teeth removed, I could have
Yeah.
switched out the prescription ibuprofen. It's gone with straight up weed. Because I mean, Missouri. I think by then, because that was like in 20.
Yeah, I remember when
20,
Colorado was the
whatever.
only state that had it legal.
Yeah, yeah. It's been interesting to see the evolution of weed legality.
What became
Go
legal
USA.
first, gays or weed?
Yeah, like real trivia. Like what's the word? Like those game shows. Like they put that on.
Your right to
Like,
exist
the
or
$1,000,000
weed?
question. Like, who wants to be a millionaire? Answer this question, and you might just be you, and it shows that.
God, dude, I'm sorry. One last off-topic thing. That fucking South Park joke where it's like Wheel of Fortune and he thinks it's the N-word. Have you seen that one?
Maybe it's been a while since I watched South Park. But that's totally. I can see how it would turn up. Yeah,
it's Wheel of Fortune, and you know it's like N, and then it's the perfect amount of letters, and then like ERS or something, and and like the hint is people who annoy you. and it's a Randy, and Randy's like, I think I know it, but I don't want to say it. And they're and then it ends up being naggers, right? Like people who nag, but he like enthusiastically he finally shouts it. He's like, he just says it, and then everyone's like, what the fuck? And I think that
pin drop.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It reminds me of the apocryphal game meme where it's like the guy's name is Nasser, but the word ass is censored. So so yeah, it's Nasser, the Nasser, but the ASS has been censored with little little asterisks. He's like, bro, my name is Nasser. I'm not.
What is that from?
It's like a game meme, like a meme, like just like a screenshot of someone. It presumably happened to some unlucky soul sometime in the distant past.
Well, I have a couple more things to talk about in this chapter. I enjoy the way Rentoro handles this a lot.
Yeah,
as always.
My man really just said, you think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You know, you exist in the context of everything that came before you and presently sort of thing. Yeah.
Rentoro cares so much about women's rights that he was closely following the Trump-Kamala debates.
He voted illegally.
He's like, women losing their rights anywhere in the world personally hurts Rentoro.
Yeah.
Like, he feels that. He's like, fuck.
It's a threat. Yeah, well, what's a threat to women anywhere is a threat to my girlfriends.
Exactly. Yeah. They're gonna. He has like cold sweat nightmares about Trump, like fucking like taking away abortion rights in Japan somehow. It's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. So anyway, God, I love Rentoro so much, dude. So I like this again because Rentoro. Nakamura, he proves himself constantly to have the ability to write in the perfect middle ground between having him be very, I'm trying to think how to word this. He's like never overly aggressive. He's always like giving the floor to his girlfriends and like letting them have perfect agency, but also he's not a pushover. Right, so
I like how he said he's like like sorry to you, but I prefer not to leave you. Like real shit,
real boyfriend.
It's like I'm respecting your right for privacy, but asserting my right as your boyfriend by ignoring it anyway. Type shit.
Love that because again, I think a lesser writer may have chosen to write Rentoro in a way where it's like, yes, queen, like whatever you say, like
standard
Sanji shit.
harem MC pushover type shit.
Because like, I think
fucking what's his name from Rent a Girlfriend.
I don't even know, and I don't want to.
I remember his name, but it's not even worthy of being spoken.
I spit on him.
He must be forgotten. Like, but anyway, where were you?
Well, I just really like that. To me, it shows a very nuanced understanding of true progressivism, right? Because like you even like, I've watched my fair share of political streamers. I've seen the gambit, right? And, I also watch videos where people are like going through the like niche subgenres of all these political beliefs, right? And there's like more neoliberally progressivism. There's more like left-leaning progressivism. And like there's different brands of progressivism. And there are some that are very like 2011, like what is it? Third wave, fourth wave feminism? I don't even know.
I think we're still in third wave.
Yeah, there's like
it's very postmodern at this point where there really aren't any waves anymore.
That's true. Yeah. Well, there's like brands of progressivism where like there's very little nuance, and they'll just be like the believe all women thing, where it's like we're just gonna blanket.
Or even just recently, like today, I was reading a comment. This comment on the sex subreddit where like this woman had accidentally had sex with her sleeping husband, because the sleeping husband was basically like sleepwalking, but it was sleep sexing.
Oh, wow.
And like and he was like, oh my god, did I like rape him? Did I like did I do like? And they were like, well, the guy, when she told him about it, he was like, oh, okay, yeah, it was like, it's funny that happened, but yeah, I'm fine with it. But she was like, oh, did I do something wrong? And people in the comments were like, girl, like, the man said it was okay. You didn't realize he was asleep. He thought I was awake because he was like responding in his sleep. And once he told him that, he was like, yeah, sometimes crazy shit happens. It was a funny story. Now, like, why are you, making a mountain out of a molehill? Now, it did turn out that she herself had experienced some sexual assault in previous relationships. So there might have been some. I mean, so it was a little more understandable. It wasn't just.
I think that's a fair thing to worry about personally, because like that's a thing where you have to keep the gender differences in mind, right? Because imagine a man like, oh yeah, in my sleep I fucked the shit out of my unconscious wife, right? Like that would come off as a little more aggressive, right?
I guess yeah, but I mean the way it was explained was like, I mean, like, yeah,
she's a little overworried about it.
Yes, it felt like the person, you talked to the person, they said they were okay with it.
Yeah.
And like you weren't forcing yourself on this person.
No,
like,
for sure.
You went through all the normal channels of like getting consent. It's just they were sleepwalking, so they weren't like. There were more nuanced discussions within the thing. People were sharing their own experiences with what's called sexsomnia, basically sleepwalking, but it's sex instead of walking. Both for men and women.
Rentoro's next girlfriend has that.
No, that's Nemu. That's already we already have that. That's Nemu.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Even some people, they were both asleep at the same time, and they had sex with each other, and like they realized after, like, wait a minute, what the, like, and why is there this wet spot in our
a month later? You're like, why am I pregnant? What happened?
Yeah, something like that.
That's crazy. Well, so to piggyback on that, right? Like a conversation I've had with Allie is, like the classic dream of most men is to one day be woken up with a blowjob. Right, like don't act like you don't want that. Everyone,
Sure, I have heard that a lot from.
Do you not want that at least once in your life?
It doesn't
come
seem.
On. Come on.
I mean, it doesn't seem bad, but I mean, I'm very much like. I mentioned I can be a little contrarian in my own way. Just hearing that it's a thing that men in general want.
Oh my god!
Like, okay, how do I?
I'm over exaggerating. I know.
I know, but just but there's a point. Because you phrase it in that way, it automatically puts up my like.
Yes, but you're not letting me finish. There's a point. The point that I'm going to is to say that it's bad to generalize. I'm literally about to go there. Yeah. So I'm just messing around, obviously. So I have said to Allie, right, like, hey, I'm giving you like blanket consent that you can wake me up with a blowjob whenever you want. Just do that at some point, please. I would like you to do that. That'd be very cool. And she's like super uncomfortable with that. She's like, I don't like that because I can't ask you for consent beforehand, like right before. You can't give blanket consent. So like, Allie is that type of girl that you just mentioned in that Reddit thread.
Yeah.
And to me, that actually is a more nuanced form of progressivism, because I think that the more neolib progressive, well, how do I put that? I'm getting in the weeds, but like there are some people.
There's a type of progressivism that, like, rather than labeling, let's say there's a type, there's a species of progressivism that will be, there's a blanket consent, basically.
Let me say this, right? There's a type where it's like women, where like it's very like basic, and like instead of trying to find the correct like formula and of like, you know, men's rights are important, women's rights are important. There's like a like a early brained 2010 type of progressivism where it's like we're just gonna completely flip to the other way and be like fuck all men, kill all men, you know, and that's bad. You know what I mean? That's just as bad, and that's what drives men.
Classic society is allergic to nuance and like middle way, like moderation is either one extreme or the other.
And that's what I was trying to say about this, right? Because like someone who is worse at like trying to write that type of progressivism would maybe have Rentoro be like the mademoiselle, like kissing her feet and, you know what I'm fanning her and feeding her grapes. Yeah, I could see Rentoro being written like that. Think
like they see like they see all the shitty hair and production and they go, okay, I'll just make the exact opposite of him where he's
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Thank you for I'm sorry. I probably
Nakamura is too smart for that types for you. He doesn't do that shit.
That's what I like about this, because Rentoro feels so much like a normal person. His ability to come in and be like...
He's supernaturally normal.
Normal in like a good... Yeah, a well-educated man.
The Hassan stream we talked about, he's often... Whenever, you know, people bring up... Like people who have like relationship trouble or whatever, his number one advice is just be normal. And Rentaro took that advice to heart.
Yeah, along with his like 700 relationship books that he read, you know, which couldn't have helped, or couldn't have hurt, rather.
Yeah, but it helps him become super normal.
Exactly. Wow, it turns out the trick is just be normal. Who would have thought? But so I just like that a lot, because like I think even I would, if Allie said to me, I'm really not in the mood right now, I prefer to eat by myself, there'd be part of me that would want to kind of... I think maybe what I would do is I would be like, okay, you need decompression time. I just want to check, though, first. Is it like something super bad? Do you want to talk about it, or do you just need some time? That's kind of probably what I would do. But for Rentoro to kind of have that, I think he knows his girlfriend so well, where he's like,
I'm willing to let you go off on me, queen, because I'll love you anyway. Like,
I think there's that element.
I know it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about you're not mad at me. You know, you're mad at whatever the problem is, and I mean, there probably is a little bit of element of that willingness to destroy himself for his girlfriend. Whereas, like, I'll be your punching bag if it gets your if it helps you vent these feelings. But I mean, he in this situation he was able to figure out a less self-destructive way to help Himiko.
Well, I think it's also because like I think he understands that. I don't know. I feel like he can like tell just from like kind of like her demeanor that like. She's clearly not mad at me, right? I think if he had a situation where he felt he had wronged her and she was mad at him, maybe he would give her like some space while he worked on like solving whatever the problem was.
Destroy himself.
I think that he would destroy himself just enough to not actually die, because he can't die without fixing the problem, you know? The same way, how did he react? Remind me how he reacted with the Tama stuff, where Tama was called him out for not actually being here for the festival. You remember that?
Or Matsuri, right?
Sorry. Yeah, why did I say Tama? Yeah. Matsuri was like, "You're not even a real festival enjoyer. You're here to just like." I mean, he
kind of got like he had like a shocked expression, but then he was able to sort of recalibrate.
Yeah, that's kind of how I imagine he would react if he felt he had wronged one of the girls. But I really like this, because I think he instantly knew, okay, this is clearly not about me, and I think to me this shows massive confidence in Rentoro, because he knows that his presence will make it better. Even though, because there are some moments you need to be able to parse these things in a relationship. There are moments where maybe they do just need time to decompress. Allie comes home from work. Sometimes it's been a stressful day. She's like, I just kind of want to like breathe for like an hour, just kind of get out of work mode, right? And like in that moment, there's nothing I can say that's gonna make her feel better. She just needs some alone time, right? But in this moment, I think he could tell this is not I just need alone time moment. This is something that I can help her feel better about through talking, and I like that about. And then on the flip side, you have Kiki's response, which I really like, which is also very mature of her. I mean, genuinely, this manga is such a good lesson on like how to communicate in a couple, right? Because her saying, "Look, I'm kind of upset right now. I really don't want to lash out at you." That's just so nice. That's just such a nice way. That's like, you've heard of poisoning the well. This is like fucking cleaning out the well. Like
cleansing the well.
Yeah, it's like, as a prerequisite to this conversation, if I'm mean in any way, it has nothing to do with you. I love that. That's the kind of thing that someone like me, who's like super anxious all the time that people are mad at me, I hear that. That's like, whew, weight off my shoulders, So I just love this conversation. It's so good. All right, cook for a little bit, Rios. I cooked for way too long.
Oh, well, I mean, this chapter did introduce me to something a concept I hadn't really considered before. As someone who's always reduced and been able to reduce like their motivations down to a very small, conservative, like raison d'être, whatever the French term. I hadn't considered
Ooh la
someone
la.
out there, someone out there might have like very pluralistic reasons, plural to be.
Ooh.
That was I mean, I've always, I remember as like a fucking 8-year old being like, okay, realizing that you're gonna die one day and being like, okay, well, I guess the ultimate end that I could put my life to is just try to live a life like and die happy, with minimal regrets. And I've basically been trying to live, my life moving in that at least general direction, trying to avoid anything that would take me away from that. So I mean, for me, I do tend to assume using either you already have done that work and figured that sort of thing out for yourself, or it's in there but you just haven't put in the work to find it. But like I was surprised to find it. There was a third option I had not considered. Was like, I mean, maybe you could just have multiple reasons to be.
It also can just be simple. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if it's just it's fun. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't need a deeper reason.
Yeah.
I think that's important too, don't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, my mind immediately goes like, okay, well, why do you want to do fun stuff like that?
Oh yeah. I understand that type of
like
brain.
the ultimate reason is because you feel your life is better if you do that. So I mean, what you really want, your actual motivation, is to improve your life, fill it with things you like, kind of thing, or avoid things you don't like, kind of thing. So I mean, yeah. So hearing this from chapters, I'm like, okay, yeah, I was unconsciously, jumping to the conclusion that everything that I said previously, that everyone's real, everyone really has deeper reasons. It's like they either already found it or they haven't, and they hope, ideally they would do it later, but obviously people can get through life without really digging in that. But it's like, yeah, like I said, this reminded me, or not even reminded me, just pointed out to me, like, okay, yeah, that's one way of doing it, dude, but there are other ways.
Well, fear of falling back into my boiling things down to their simplest components aside, I do feel like at the end of the day, with most reasons to create, it just kind of comes down to it feels good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's hard for me even to put it into words, but it feels like it taps into some kind of like primal caveman brain thing for me. Like whenever I write, whenever I take the time to write or make it, back in the day I used to make AMVs all the time. That moment where you're working on it, you're building it piece by piece by piece, and then I'm done, and you like look at it. God, it feels so good. And I feel like it's probably the same-ish feeling as like birthing a child, because it's like I just created a thing like this where it just feels good to take a break from consuming and produce something that you feel like, oh, I've really put something out there, and this came from there's something magical about like my head is just a bunch of squishy meat and I just produced this like finished product. You know what I mean? Like that feels very cool. And like to me it's that mixed with the fact that I can like interject my thoughts about the world into other people through art. You know what I mean? Like I love being like, oh, I'm mad about this today, so I'm gonna have a character who's really mad about that and like expresses it in a really cool way through this fictional world. You know what I mean? I love that.
Yeah.
Like I had an idea. This is just totally random, but I remember I had an idea one time. I just thought it was a cool idea for a character. It was like a Hunter x Hunter OC. I was gonna have to somehow figure out how to do this through like Nen, but I like the idea of like a character who like he used to be like a pacifist because he hated the idea of killing, but he came to the conclusion that he had to kill to solve the problems in the world that he wanted to solve. So his solution was that his power involved, like whenever he killed someone, he essentially puts them into like a mental trance where they like live out a full like simulation of a life and then die. So like from their perspective, they didn't actually die, because he's looking at it like, well, did I really kill them if they experienced a full life in like a nanosecond to them? You know what I mean? I think that's a cool concept. You know what I mean?
I would love it. I would love to see like the that person, like that, those ideals being like, going up against someone who challenges them.
Yes.
Because I can immediately, I'm like, okay, I mean, like just because you gave someone a simulation, a simulacra of life, I mean, I don't know if that means it's okay to just kill them. But
Well, and obviously this character would be killing people that he perceives to be like terrible people, obviously. But,
Well, yeah, of course.
But,
I'm saying that even
it's still
having
bad, obviously. Yeah.
even-
Just
Well, I mean,
giving that caveat.
Well, I mean, I think it's a little premature to jump to conclusion it's bad. It'd be
Yeah, it just hurt.
it'd be more interesting to have some back and forth.
Well, I get, yeah, that you're right. Yeah, sorry, I was getting prematurely defensive because I couldn't tell if you were being like, whoa, whack.
Yeah, 'cause I was trying to figure out, like, how do I introduce the concept of a character challenging his character without it sounding like I'm challenging.
Yeah. Well, so, right, because fascinating. Imagine, right? Okay, because then he could clap back and be like, oh, what's your alternative then? Throwing him in a jail cell to rot for 100 years? Or I just gave him a happy life, and then you want to put him in a jail cell. Either way, this guy's an evil prick. What do you want for him, right?
Or like at that point, just make them go through 100 years of therapy so they come out a better person.
That's peak, actually. Yeah. Damn, you know what? You right.
Yeah. That's like the what's the word? Like the defeater for their arguments. Like if they meet that character who says that, like the only reason you could do that, but you chose to kill them. So you're actually only in this just to punish your enemies. Like, holy shit.
Oh, fuck. See there, you know what that was? We just fucking gave you a real-time look at the joys of creating art. That was fucking awesome. Rios, can we write something together? We really should. Like,
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I would love that.
That would become even more like that. Those pair of YouTubers I told you about, because they're both writers and they'll do exactly what we just did. Obviously, they have way more experience because they've actually worked on like real productions, whereas we just done fanfic and personal.
That's fine. It'll be amateur hour.
It's fun. It's fun to like we're like the little league versions of those guys.
Well, I mean, who's got more views? Them, I assume.
Yes, yeah, they regularly get like 80,000.
You motherfuckers! Views. All right, we got Moonlight's attention. It's time to get theirs.
Yeah. I mean, they called like a "We Are Not Alive" or something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't figured out yet why they're called that.
It goes pretty hard.
Yeah, very interesting.
We are not alive. We simply live through our characters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. It is funny how like I was watching a recent video. They go in the exact sort of tangents. So we go and just like they're just.
Is there one that's more like you and one that's more like me?
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's a great, like I mentioned the first time I brought this up, it's a great dynamic. I mean, there's a reason it shows up over and over again, with, like, Game Grumps, for example, or a third example, some other third thing. But yeah.
You put me on the spot. Anyway, so moving on. So another thing I like, because this is just more Rentoro charm, not a lot to dig into here. It's just I just wanted to point it out. Her being like, you can be really weird, you know that? That's right. I'm an abnormal Himika loving weirdo. Yep. Peak cute.
Yeah, remember he's brought that up before, but yeah, it's both a great callback to that moment, but also just real good. I mean, Rentaro was he can parry anything his girlfriend sent his way, basically.
You know what I like about this? So this reminds me, I don't know, so how much of Dandadan did you dive into?
The whole first season.
Perfect. Okay, so in Dandadan, she's super into Ken Takakura, that actor, and he shares the same name, and there's that like line that he says, like, I'm an awkward guy after all, and every time he says that, Momo
her panties explode or whatever.
Exactly. She's like,
her ovaries go overactive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't we all wish we had some sort of trigger phrase for our girlfriend's ovaries?
Like, you will now come.
Come! Come, but with the energy of the guy who said Kali Ma in Invaders or in Indiana Jones.
Orgasm.
Do it now. Excellent. But yeah, so that's like, I like that a lot because, even she loves him because he's weird. It reminds me, this is a very, God, it's just such good couple writing because like this happens in my relationship where it's like, Allie will say something like, oh, you're a dork, you're a dweeb. And I'll be like, yeah, but you like that about me, don't you? And she's like, I do.
Like, damn, he got me.
It's just really cute for her to be like, you're fucking weird. And then Rentoro's like, yeah, and you like that, don't you?
Yeah, that throb was a little like normally these throbs are more romantic and emotional. That throb was a little. He was feeling a little Hikari like for a second there.
Yes.
I can imagine the dirty talk would be crazy because remember Kizika was calling like a weirdo a freak and she was like
I just thought about that.
He was enjoying it. So yeah, the dirty talk with this girl would be out of this world. I imagine.
Next stream is the after pregnancy is the
Yeah.
how sex goes with all these girls.
Yes.
But again, that one would be so much harder. We have to wait till the series is over. We have to wait until if there's a time skip and they're all aged up. That's when we can't do it until then.
Well, you know, I mean, we assume with the pregnancy
Yeah,
stream,
but you
they're
give the
also all aged
no,
up.
but it's harder because pregnancy isn't inherently like lewd, you know.
I get.
You're gonna get people that are like FBI.
But granted, those people are goofy as fuck. But yeah, I mean, I do.
That would be a little harder.
Not wanting to deal with him.
So instead, we'll just feed it into the when we're 45 minutes into a review, we'll feed it in there.
Yeah.
So yes, the dirty talk.
Yeah, Hibiko will be trying to do Amazon position because he it'd be abnormal to switch the roles. You know.
I really like the idea of the dirty talk though, with her being like, because it's the same way like, you know, you say the things that you want to imagine, you're like fantasize about. So I could see her being like, she would probably really get off to the fact that she's in a polycule. You know, I think she would want to have, you know, like,
I mean,
like
that's what got her to accept Rentoro's confession in the first place.
I could see her being like, I could see her getting super into like, you know, if he like pulls out of one vagina and goes right into her, like, oh yeah, Hikari's fucking juices are still on there, and like
they're mixing.
Yeah,
mix everyone's. Like, put your dick into everyone else's, and then put it into me, and create a whole.
It's like
whole cocktail, a pussy cocktail.
It's like eating Fun Dip. Dip it in and let me lick it. I love that. And then I could see her just being like, maybe like calling him like a man slut or something, but like in like a, you know, you fucking man slut, I love you. Yeah. You know, 90 women aren't enough for you. 100 women aren't enough for you. You've fuck me. I love that. That's good stuff.
Oh my.
Oh, you like that?
We're talking to write porn at this point.
Woo! God, that's good stuff.
Maybe you were right. Maybe the sex stream would be a little more R18 than I was expecting.
That one would get us educated. The YouTube cops would be wary to our presence at that point.
We gotta go on Fansly to do that one.
Yeah. That'll be our first Patreon exclusive. Oh Lord. Just like, you know how PewDiePie got like YouTube like to ruin their ads from that one bridge moment, like the adpocalypse.
Yeah.
So that'll be, we will destroy Patreon with that one stream.
Yeah, they're already itching to remove all adult content from there.
Oh, fucking bro. Ooh, makes me mad. All right, let's see. Do you want to go to the kiss at the end here, or do you have anything else to say? I suppose we should talk about like her.
I thought it was very cute seeing
Himiko's
reactions, like her progressive reaction to like each reason, why like specifically on page 11 where she's like the top of the page, she's like all like oh yeah, it's like I'm really into that, and then she's like wow on page like he's like pogging on the bottom of the page.
I gotta find it. Damn it! With Manga Dex, I was able to just like click the page I wanted, and now that isn't really a thing anymore. Page 11. Help me find that page.
Are you using the Donkey?
I'm using Donkan-Ryu or whatever the fuck. Yeah,
it should be. It does.
There's no
it should
page
show
thing.
The page numbers, right?
Not for me. I don't see it. Where is it?
Maybe the settings.
Oh, it's over on the side instead of the okay. See, Manga Dex is on the bottom. Okay, so page 11. She is pogging. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Let me analyze this pog. That's cute.
Like her stars and her eyes, they've been split into 4 equal parts. Not even stars anymore.
She's very cute in this chapter. There's a lot of like really good art. Here, hold on. I just realized I was like facing away from my mic, and whenever I do that, it gets like super quiet. So I'm gonna hold it real quick. Let's see. Oh, did you happen to look up the guy that they're referencing with the Miyazaki movie? I assume it's just someone who did like music for a Miyazaki movie. I didn't Google him. I probably should have.
Something like that. Like, some famous artiste kind of person.
You know what? Honestly, with her bringing up Miyazaki movies, I could see her going down the path that the actor who played Edward Cullen, you know, what's his name again? Do you remember? Alexa, who played Edward Cullen in the Twilight movies? Hold on. Robert. Alexa, shut up. Robert Pattinson. So that guy, you know, he did Edward Cullen, and then he was like desperate to escape that, so he did like a bunch of wacky shit. So like he ended up like playing the fucking heron. Basically, he does all these roles where he does like weird, wacky little voices. He is like the eccentric artist that she wants to be, right? Like he's like Mahito, you know. And then he did Mickey 17. Did you see anything from that?
No.
Mickey
no,
17 it's directed by the guy who directed it's Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite. You surely heard of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And he also does a voice throughout the whole, because basically he's a real actor, right? He's like the antidote to like the Dwayne The Rock Johnsons of the world, who just go in and like are themselves. Like Robert Pattinson goes in and he's got like a different voice for every character. Like he does like this like hello guys voice for Mickey. He loves doing his wacky voices. So I could see her going down that path. Like she has her singing career, and then like later, like when she's an adult, like she's like she would get like movie roles, but she would want them to be weird fucking movies. She wouldn't be like a Marvel character. She wouldn't go into like the Marvel movies or the Mission.
They're trying to give her all these big budget roles, and then she's like tossed among the trash, and someone gives her a role for like this weird.
You're gonna play like this fucking like goop film monster and fucking. You're gonna play the fucking this creature from the swamp in our fucking like college indie film. Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Or even like, I mean, she would be knocking on A24's door basically. She'd be like, whatever you've got, I'm in. You got a fucking movie where Nicolas Cage is like a vampire? I'm so in. I want to be the one he fucks. And then Rentoro's like what? And it's like, no, not real. Like, you know,
it's like the opposite of what happened with that Mimi acting thing where like Mimi was like at the end she's like I'm not interested in fucking anyone but you. But Himeka like, I mean, you know.
She might.
Like, don't worry, Rentaro. It's just for the stage, you know.
I do wonder how Rentoro would react because you know he's all about this.
We saw how he reacted in the.
Oh, remind me.
Yeah, he was like, I'm willing to let you do this because I respect your autonomy, but like I don't really like it. But
when was this?
Basically, I mean it was a Mimi chapter. It was when there was like a school play sort of thing. Where a kid like kissed someone in the play.
Yes. I blanked those chapters out hardcore because those were the ones
because Mimi was in there.
Back when I first was binging this series, whenever there was a Mimi chapter, I was like, oh.
That was an important moment because it's literally right. Like talking about like, okay, how does Rentaro feel? I mean, he's getting all these multiple relationships. How does he feel when his girlfriends getting another relationship, sort of thing? It turns out he's kind of not down for that.
That's it. Rentaro. But to be fair, you know, Rentoro's trying to account for that by being 100 boyfriends worth of a boyfriend. But to be fair to me, when I first was binging this series, I did not think I was gonna be like a content creator for it. I was just kind of like casually enjoying it. I wasn't like hardcore analyzing every chapter or every line in the beginning. But yeah, I mean that's what the reread's for, obviously, which we will get back to eventually. All right. Now. This fucking weird ass. I assume she's like an American singer.
Yeah, Uta Urma, whatever her name was.
You know what I read it as? That's what I read. I read it as Uma Thurman, and I was like, "Is it?"
Yeah, Backtrack had the exact same reaction when he was reading him in Japanese, like Romanji. I was like, "What the fuck is?
It's Uma Thurman.
What is this?"
I guess it's just weird. I mean, it'd be criminal for us to not discuss her a little.
Yeah, we'd be remiss. Like we literally all we made is like a Mimi question mark reference to this person. Like, I mean, really, another top tier Nozawa design. She's a classic. She's a classic, like like a stereotypical sort of.
It's giving Normie.
Musician woman rocker chick. Like it's sort of Himeka's idea of a artsy fartsy sort of.
Well, so we have Hasu saying like, oh, she went missing. So like, I guess I'm gonna assume that this is something she just does every once in a while, where she just like, I need to get away from it all. 2, I'm gonna go inspire the next generation. I'm going to like she's like looking out for like up and coming stars, and she's like, she's like, I'm gonna fly there. I'm gonna like stalk them.
She's trying to live out her fantasies as being like a mysterious. A mentor figure, you know, who catalyzes growth in random artists.
In a way, she's kind of being pretty Uto-like here, don't you think?
Yeah. Actually, oh my lord, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, basically, it's just aura farming, and she's actually, he's kind of being what Uto tries to be.
Mm-hmm. A mysterious drifter on the wind, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. We just did the literature student class thing where we found the parallels.
This is what Uto will become towards like the time skip. Like Uto's gonna be like,
grow her hair out long. He's gonna like gain like like a foot.
Well, I like the idea of Uto, because when she first joined the family, it was like they debated us into thinking we were gonna have a long distance girl, and she was like, no, because she's in middle school and she doesn't have the fucking funds for that. But I like the idea of like when she's an adult, she actually will travel the world. Like that's a good stream idea, by the way. Like what where are they now type, like where will all these girls be, and like what's their life gonna be in like 20 years type shit. But anyway. I love the idea of Uto actually like traveling around, like literally like seeing the world like how she wants to, and that would be. And then she gets to, basically it's the Usopp thing where like Usopp had all these lies, but now he's like on this journey. So he's like, when I come back, I'll have actual stories to tell you that are true.
Yep.
I like
I'll make every one of my lies the truth.
Especially the goldfish one. If you know, you know.
I do not know, but yeah.
So it's one of his lies was about encountering a goldfish that the goldfish was so big he mistakes some of its poop for an island. He was like standing on it and he thought it was an island, and then it was the shit from the goldfish. Like that was one of his stories.
So in this story, did he even see the goldfish?
Yes, because that's when he realized. Yeah.
How would you even be able to see something that big? Like it'd be over the horizon at that point. If even its poop is island sized. That would be that. Now, I mean, Oda has the opportunity to do like the awesomest thing that show with a big fish. Like
he did.
And tap. Oh, really?
So there's a running theme with Usopp's lies where they all eventually come true.
Damn.
It's like a curse he has. So yeah, when they go.
Yeah, all my lies are just truths that haven't happened yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When he goes, and this is not a spoiler for Richmond because Richmond is already here. When they see the giants on Little Garden, that's like the thing they have to defeat for them to leave. They're like, oh, they call him the Mountain Eater, or like an Island Eater or something, because it's like a goldfish. It's so fucking big, and the giants like fucking send like this giant wave from their swords to like blast the goldfish in half. Anyway, but yeah, so and the giants say the same fucking thing that Usopp says. They literally are like, yeah, the first time we saw him, we thought his poo was an island. Usopp's like, what the fuck? Am I in like a simulation?
They stole my whole flow.
Bro, One Piece is a good show. I gotta show it to you sometime.
One time.
Yeah,
that one time, like a year.
A year.
Like, even if I sat there Clockwork Orange style and watched it like every waking moment of my, I think it would still take a year or more to get through it.
Allie and I lived together, and it took her like 2 years to catch up. Because we're not insane, we were like on and off with it. We need to talk about this art where she says that because that's who I am is fucking gorgeous. I mean, like Nozawa really took the opportunity to cook. This is a Nozawa cook chapter. I mean, this is like. Really it just felt like Nakamura was like, Nozawa, I'm concocting a chapter where you can cook a little extra harder than usual, and she did. God, her eyes are gorgeous. Her hair is so detailed. It's just gorgeous, man. There's the pitties. I'd be remiss.
I'm a big fan of the triangle torso, which you get when women have the boobs are just the right size. They kind of go. Like they kind of follow the line of the rib cage, but very interesting shape there.
I wish I had boobs that followed the line of my rib cage.
It really is like almost an equilateral triangle there. But yeah,
that's
anyway.
Nice. What's a good page that shows that off? Give me a page.
Oh, 17, yeah. The page where she says, because that's who I am.
Oh, okay.
And then she sings and
yes.
captures the attention of the whole crowd.
Very nice. When I was showing this chapter to Allie, she saw the tattoo, and she initially thought that was chest hair. She was like, oh my god, Nozawa, based of you.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, dude, a woman with chest hair, like, right between the cleavage would be crazy. Crazy in a manga, to clarify.
Yeah.
Like, you would never
not
see
those
that.
of us who've seen furry art are already well acquainted with female characters who have chest hair. Prominent chest hair.
That is one I don't often find myself looking at furry stuff. I'm not against it. It's not really my thing. It's there's a line for me. That like furry chart where it's like how furry can you go? Yeah, like mine's like pretty. It has to be like in like the early, like 90% human, 10% animal. I think for me to like it. There
are some good furry artists out there who will perhaps make you
sway,
change your mind. Yeah.
I mean, I can get down to seeing like an aged up version of Amy Rose getting like dicked down or something. The Sonic characters are all like, You know, I see it. I think a lot of it too. For me too,
the classic Lola Bunny, perhaps.
Oh yes. Well, for me, a lot of the characters that I want to see dick down are ones that I want. Like a lot of times, it's the women that are like super strong-willed. I like the idea of like, okay, this is a really strong-willed woman, and I want to see her when she like lets her hair down, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm strong-willed on the streets, but I want to get fucking plowed in the sheets. You know what I mean? Like that's why I like ones with Nami a lot from One Piece, because Nami is very like aggressive, strong-willed. I'm not taking shit from anyone. So the idea of Nami getting like her back blown out is very intriguing to me.
I mean, agree.
No lies detected.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then this kiss is like really nice. It's really sweet too, because you have like just a genuine like, thank you, Rentoro. You genuinely like helped me there. You helped me find my reason for singing. And then Rentoro being the humble man. He's like, I didn't do anything. I just wanted to help.
Yeah, well, doing the Monogatari line, like, nobody can save anyone else. Everyone saves themselves, kind of thing. I only helped you save yourself, sort of thing.
Such a smooth line from Kiki, because like he's like, oh, I just did it because I loved you so much. Well, then thank you for loving me so much. That's just very sweet, because it's like, I don't know, it's just a nice moment where, because she is one of those characters out of all the girls that are very, very often feel like they have this like character over them, similar to Uto, right? Which makes sense because she's learning from Uto. To just see her that's a very genuine thing to say, to just be like, I almost did a One Piece spoiler. Although Richmond says he knows about this one already, but yeah, you know what, Richmond.
There are other One Piece enjoyers besides Richmond who are not as far along as.
Well, this is like 15 years old. This happened when I was in high school, so spoilers for Marineford in One Piece. But Richmond, you already know this one. When Ace dies, he says his final words are "Thank you for loving me," and it's really sweet because, all right, now you might not know this part, Richmond, so like blah, blah, blah for like 30 seconds. Ace, you definitely might not know this one. Richmond, turn your ears off now. So Ace is the biological son of Gold D. Roger, the Pirate King. And they tried to hide that. So yeah, Ace and Luffy are half brothers. They're actually not even real. Are they even? No, they're not even half brothers. Actually, they're just like brothers. They shared a sake cup. They're like spiritual brothers. They call each other brothers, but they're not. They don't even share mother or father. And anyway, so he was born, and they tried to like hide, basically like a friend of Roger's took him in to like, try to have him live a normal life. He's like, I don't want this child to be persecuted because of me, and then Roger got executed before he was born, blah blah blah. So like he kind of grew up and he found out the truth, and the public didn't know, but he would constantly hear these like people saying shit like, oh man, yeah, like if Roger had a kid, they should find him and fucking execute him. Like that man had evil in his blood, because to the public Roger was like a terrorist, right? It'd basically be like if you were Osama bin Laden's kid, right? So, he hears that his whole life, and then finally the government does find out and literally does like execute him for that, right? And there's just this moment where it's like, you guys, my real family, this crew I was with, my brother but not really a brother, Luffy, Sabo, you guys didn't care about the fact that I was this guy's son. You just looked at me for me, and thank you for loving me. So that's kind of what I think of is like, this is a character who's having this like massive identity crisis like constantly, and I think that must be very reassuring for her to be like, well, even though I can't figure out exactly who I am at all times, clearly I must be something because you love me that much. That's beautiful.
I reminded of that one little daily life thing where her and Yaku sort of like, because of her relation, because of relations with the family, she's able to find that thing that she's been looking for, her own personal, individual flair. She's been developing real connections with other people. That's allowing her to sort of find herself, basically.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. So, did you have anything else to say about this chapter?
I guess the last thing I have to say is that fucking tie-dye question mark shirt that he's wearing.
Oh my god!
I mean, it is very, it's very garish in a very Himika style way. So I mean,
I didn't even look at that. I was so busy looking at her, like her eyes. I loved the way her like eyes were like drawn. Wow. Yeah, that reminds me of like a Junji Ito panel or something. Like that's what like the surface of the planet they're going to would look like.
Yeah, like instead of the spirals, it's the swirls or whatever.
Yeah. All right. I have a question for you because I'm stumped. Okay. This fucking next time thing. What in the god? That game is finally here. You know the one. What are we talking about?
I mean, the only one I can think of is the mobile game that's coming out for
Yeah, I
that'd
guess
be funny because they have done that with like
they have the merch and the
the anime and all that.
Oh,
so yeah,
wow.
they're gonna fucking play their own mobile game, probably.
Oh no, that'll be a weird one to review if it's just like an advertisement.
For this review, we play
the mobile game. You know
so
what?
We could,
I like
so we could have an accurate sort of thingamajig. But yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Can we access it from here, or like is it on the or would we have to like
probably
VPN?
If it's a new thing, it probably hasn't been translated yet. But no, maybe
we'll watch a bunch. We'll find YouTube playthroughs of it.
Yeah, and we'll react to them.
That'll be the first half of the review. God. Well, anyway. Yeah, you know what? I'm proud of us. We found a way to talk about this chapter for much longer than I thought we could, as we always do.
It's
shout
on the
out
Google Play Store, probably also on iOS and Apple Store.
You find it?
Yeah, it's Japanese,
but you can download it here.
In Japanese. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
You can download it.
Maybe we will, and we'll just not be able to.
I guess Backtrack reacts. You know, speak Japanese, don't you?
Okay, wait. We should ask him if we should do a stream where he plays that, and we're just like in there, like reacting to it. Perfect. We're just pogging the whole time.
Yeah.
Pog. I think there's one. I think the last thing I want to talk about was this little rooftop. We didn't talk enough about this rooftop interaction because it's the only time we get some of the other girls in this chapter. Okay. We do have Himika looks like not Himika. Morikita looks like her stomach is upset.
I think he's just
concerned for Kiki.
Yeah. Like, one of my students is not having a hard time.
It looks like that's me when I fucking like swallow something too fast and there's like that weird air bubble making its way down my esophagus.
I hate that.
Me too.
I like how Hatsuo is just kind of like, I don't know, like she's just bringing this up after. Well, yeah, like the way I guess the juxtaposition between her presumably bringing this up like apropos of nothing while she's munching away at her little onigiri.
Yeah, well,
I mean, like Karn is clearly he's like he can probably see what Hatsuo's trying to do, but he's like, no, ignore that. We're gonna talk about Himika. She's also missing, and she's like actually related to us.
I really like the way that she worded it. This is actually kind of why I wanted to come back up to this page. And she's like, "Where's our singer gotten off to?" I like her like the ownership, right? Like she's with us. She's part of our group. She's our singer. You're our detective. You're our bard. You're one of our many pedophiles.
You're our tsundere.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love it. You're our rule follower / breaker. I love that. I mean, it reminds me of like when she referred to them as like a Pokemon, right? Like, what's this one's deal? Oh, she's hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
And then we got Matsuri being all I don't know, like
British. Did you see her in class, Mary?
yeah, being all British.
She's kind of a fucking creature in this panel.
Yeah. Honestly, they all have kind of unusually.
I'm glad you. Oh my god.
Swart faces.
Yes, they all look squished. I thought I was tripping, bro. They look like you took their models and like just a little bit in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like they all look like they're like chibi-fied. It's like when they made that fucking weird Rock Lee spin-off Naruto anime where they were all chibi. Do you remember that?
I think so.
You weren't in the circles I was in.
Yeah. I was in Naruto back then, but not that into it.
No, I mean I had my phase for sure. But anyway, yeah, they're all a little chibied. My assumption is that they just, she was cooking so hard on these other panels, she just kind of like plopped them out real quick for the purpose. Yeah.
You do it so fast that there was like a printer having the page shift so the ink, the ink on the page kind of gets stretched,
squashed.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I think we've done it. I think we've discussed all that we can discuss.
It turns out the English commentary of this chapter was not beyond the reviewer's skill with the language. Bring it right back around.
One last thing. I love these types of sunglasses, like the cunty celebrity sunglasses she's wearing. Very, very good. All right. So what's our call to action here? How do we get these people to subscribe?
If you want to be abnormal,
boo.
Yeah, do the most abnormal thing imaginable. Liking, coming, yeah, we'll say
Wait,
like, you know, like most, like we get 1,000 views on this channel, and we only have like 600 viewers. So
I'm
a
gonna get the
decent chunk of
analytics
you,
right now. Go ahead.
yeah, a decent chunk of you are not subscribed. So it would actually be very abnormal of you to,
I bet it's pretty
you
abnormal.
dear viewer, to subscribe, like, even comment.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
the analytics up and see. You know that classic like my analytics
Yeah.
tell me that only 10% of. Let's see here.
Yeah, this is the classic thing. Like, well, I mean, that means that your content is being shown to new people. Like, it's not like you want just to be shown the same people who've already subscribed, then you're gonna stagnate. But you know,
Returning viewers, new viewers. I wish unique viewers, subscribers. Help me! Help me! Oh, here we go. Oh no, actually, we do have more watch time from our subscribers, but barely. It's pretty even actually. So the last 28 days, our watch time from subscribers is 56.1%, and our watch time from non-subscribers is 43.9%.
I mean, it's a pretty even.
But unfortunately, that
Right.
does mean that you're being a normie by subscribing. So
Yeah.
that one ain't gonna work. Do not unsubscribe. I'll be sad.
Yeah.
Let me think. If you want to,
What are your 100 reasons for watching this channel?
I'm gonna need. Oh god, that's so many comments for me to read. You know what? I mean, fuck it. Yeah. Rios, you gotta help me subscribe.
Try to hit 100 comments. Like you viewer make one comment, and then the other viewers will make their own comments. And
But don't
we'll hit
spam
100
though.
comments.
I don't want that. I'm worried that means they're
that
gonna
would
like.
be-
Yeah.
You know, do like one word per comment.
No, please don't do that. Damn it, dude. I'm stumped. If you want to have the size of titties that makes you have the perfect triangle torso that Rios is talking about,
Oh my lord, yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing. You know what? We get one off week, okay? Just fucking
Yeah.
subscribe, all right? Why do I need to tell you a reason?
This is our abnormal. This is our abnormal week. We.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah. No, that's good. Wait. You're onto something. You know what would be the most abnormal thing for us? To not have a call to action.
Yeah, because we don't even need to do that. We know.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know what to do. You don't need us to tell you.
Yeah.
You're in the know. If you're in the know, you're in the know. You know. So you know.
Yeah, aren't you sick of all these YouTubers telling you to subscribe every time? Well, for this 1 week only, we're going to respect your intelligence and autonomy and not do that. But we'll be right back to it next week.
So abnormal, smug face.
Oh, fucking nerd emoji with the finger up with the glasses. Excellent.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I honestly kind of hope that the next chapter is not just about the mobile game. Like, I'm gonna be struggling. Like, how do I talk about this?
Okay, yeah, we will actually probably have to get Backtrack Reacts to be like our
Interpreter.
yeah, like how the news channels will bring on like an expert for some random for today's broadcast we're talking about this, so we brought in our war expert or our economics expert or whatever,
or like those events where they bring up an ASL person but they're clearly just like bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Backtrack is feeding us nonsense. Like this one says that Hakari's he's pregnant.
You could if you know the characters well enough, you probably could believably do that. Like, oh yeah, you beat the puzzle and Hikari strips her clothes and says she wants to fuck you. I mean, it's definitely what she would say. Karne says it's not like I'm impressed with you doing that puzzle or anything.
It's not like I'm ovulating or anything.
Really? Backtrack Reacts. What's the Japanese word for ovulating?
It's not like it's not my safety or anything, Baka.
It's not like I'm ovulating or anything. Goes so hard. If a woman said that to me, it's instant. It's on site.
Right.
Holy fuck. That
The Sundere secret weapon that they can pull out at any time.
God damn, dude. Honestly though, I gotta say, and we'll cap the video with this because we're not going up from that. There's that we've reached the summit.
It's all down here.
Karne won me over initially by saying I was looking for a place to blast out a piss. So Karne, I can actually see her saying it's not like I'm ovulating or anything. I could totally see that. I love that idea. Like, You know, like they've been trying for a baby for a while, and then like I don't know, it's been like a month or two or however many. I don't know what a realistic time to try for a baby is, and probably longer than that. It's been a while, and they're like, we're not having a lot of luck or whatever. And she's, I don't know. I know you can get like apps to track that shit, and like so she comes in and she's trying to like be all sexy and shit, but she's like struggling, and then finally she's just like, it's not like I'm ovulating or anything, and then Rentero's like, really? Just throw me to bed, hurry up. I love that.
Perfect.
On that.
Perfect send off.
Yeah, and you know what? That's we may not have a subscribe call to action, but you know what I do have is a call to action to watch part 3 of our pregnancy stream.
Yeah.
For those uninitiated, that's the stream where we're going through every girl and talking about what it would be like for them to deal with the 9 months of pregnancy, the birth, being a mother. It sounds like it raises an eyebrow. You say AO for a second, but it's actually so peak. I mean, there's so much character discussion to have. We have 2 parts out.
So much wholesomeness.
Genuinely, there's wholesome, and then for the Hanazonos, it's breeding stuff.
Yeah, it's a little potentially very unwholesome in some cases, but
depends on the girl. Yeah. And but yeah, so go to
like
our
it's like a gotcha. Yeah. Go to like you anime fans are addicted to your gotcha thing.
God, brain rot.
Start betting on which girlfriend's wholesome or not.
Well, that's when the stock stream comes into play. We make our betting app, and all the money is funneled into us, and then we rug pull.
Fantasy football, but for girlfriends.
I love that. Like who's gonna get screen time in the next month? Make your bets.
Oh my lord, that'd be crazy.
Imagine being Nakamura and finding out that that's happening.
Like the English fans are going crazy.
We should be getting that money. We should funnel that to us. Anyway, oh my god, then they could do like insider trading. like he makes friends with a guy in America who's like, okay, put like $1 million on fucking like Hikari next chapter.
I can't tell you my source, but I know on good authority the next chapter is going to be like the Uto stocks are going through. Woo! They're going to the moon.
Please. Anyway,
they lied. It's like
no.
You go bankrupt. You go 100 GF bankrupt.
Imagine, and then how did you go bankrupt? How did you? You're like in the you're in the fucking homeless like enclave, and you're fucking in a tent. What happened to you? I don't want to talk about it. Okay, so point being, pregnancy stream 3 Electric Boogaloo. Next weekend, okay? From the weekend that you're watching this, the reasons came out, the next one. I'll have it scheduled. I'll schedule it in a couple days here. And the first 2 parts are under our live tab. Peak. Please go watch. I love you all so much. Rios, do you love them?
Yes, I love you too. For loving us so much, I love you too.
No, see, my love is non-transactional.
Okay, well that's not transact. Well, I guess 4. It sounds it's reflective. It's it's interactionist love.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.